right, I'm gonna turn him down over here. He's getting low. How y'all doing today? So good to see everybody around. We got a few participants on the line, and as I look at my clock on the wall, it's about time for us to get started. This is the business of minding the business. Now I ain't saying the business. I said the business. Got to take care of your business. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Loud and clear.
All right, let's get this party started then. Same ground rules as forever, baby. We got to have everybody muted while Mr. Ray is bringing the word to you in clarity and with some idea of how I'm going to help you guys to make it better. So look at this. Make sure you ask some questions, baby. Provide me some feedback so we can always get better. Rayism, let's get it in early. See, we got this thing messed up because a pessimist will see the difficulty in every opportunity, while an optimist sees an opportunity in every difficulty. Two different people seeing the same thing, but seeing it differently. It's all in your perspective, baby. I got to get you to change your mind about how you see things, how you perceive things. You have been lied to. You can't just go out there and believe everything that you hear and everything that you see. You got to approach it with the right mindset. So one of the things I'm excited about being able to do, I'm not here just to make you a millionaire. That's all well and good. Money's all well and good, but I'm interested in the whole person. I'm interested in helping you to be a better wife, a better husband, a better co-worker, a better dad, a better mama. I'm here to make sure that you serve the Lord with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul, that at the end of the day, you'll hear him say at the gate, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Enter thee into the joy of the Lord. So let's get to the agenda for today. We got to get down to business, and I got to talk about the part of the business that you got to make sure you manage. So I'm going to cover several areas that you got to make sure you manage in this business. You got bank cards and you got credit cards. You got to manage them, baby. You got to manage them lenders, the utilities. You got to manage contractors, insurance, and taxes. Those are just a few of the things, and I'm only going to highlight them because I could dig deep into each one of these and give you a whole lesson on each one. So I'm just going to scratch the surface. I'm going to give you some ideas on some things that you need to make sure that you're aware of, because at the end of the day, you are responsible. This is your business. You're the CFO, you're the CEO, you are the HNIC, you running it. So you got to make sure that you got things taken care of and that you're doing things according to proper policy and procedure. So let's talk about the question of why manage the business, Mr. Ray. Why is it important that you manage the business? Because you got to keep track of what's coming in and what's going out, right? You got to know where your income is coming from and where your expense. You know, Mr. Ray, he loved them numbers, baby. So you got to know what them numbers look like so you can determine whether or not you making a profit. That's important. You got to know that. And it's important that you keep your business separated from your personal. Oh, somebody better preach right there, because if you start intermingling and you start getting your business checking account with your saving account and it's all mixed up and you don't know whether you're coming and going, you're going to have a problem on your hand, because the tax man's going to want to know what part of it was business and what part of it is personal. You got to keep that separate, baby. Keep that stuff separate out there. And you got to make sure that you stay current on all of your critical bills. Really, you need to make sure that you stay current on all your bills, not just the critical ones, because that's going to go to, when you go to the bank and you trying to get a loan from the bank and they see a lot of late payments on there. They see you've been shucking and jiving, and they ain't going to want to do business with you. It's important that you have A-run credit and that all of your bills are paid on time. It's very, very important. It's important that you be organize in your systems. And if you have spreadsheets, have stuff organized. I'm going to show you a few of my spreadsheets, how I store things. Now, some of you might say, oh, Mr. Ray, you behind the time. That's just the way I do it, baby. There's some smart people on this phone, and we ought to be able to figure out some ways that we can help each other be better organized. But you got to make sure you have stuff stored not only on your computer, but any paperwork that you have. As you're buying these homes, you're getting these closing documents, you're getting all these bills and things coming in. You need to have a system set up where you're separating this stuff out so you can go find stuff when you need to put your hands on it. It's very, very important. And it's important to your lenders and your creditors that you have your house in order. They want to make sure that when you walk into the bank, when you're bringing in your rent rolls and you're showing all the rent you got coming in, you're bringing in, you're showing your net worth, your income, your liabilities, everything is in order. They can see exactly, oh, this boy got his stuff in control. I want to do business with him. You don't want to come in there with a box full of stuff and, yeah, let me see what I can find. No. You got to be organized, baby. Make sure that you're minding the business. That's why it's important to know how to manage your business. So let's talk about the first thing that you're going to make sure you manage. You got to manage all the bank accounts that you have. Now, when you first starting off, you're only going to have one bank account, probably have, a debit card or credit card here or there. But you got to make sure on a monthly basis that you're reconciling that, right? So the money that you put in as you're writing checks at the end of the month. Now, you ain't got to balance it to the T, to the penny, but you need to know exactly how you do or how you are doing on a monthly basis. And make sure that you capture the costs, expenses, and income for each individual property that you have. Me today, with my 25 properties, I have to make sure that as I'm spending money on each property, that I'm putting it on that property, right? That's very important. So you got to make sure that you segregate all of your costs and your expenses and your income for each individual property. And then create some spreadsheets. And there's a lot of off-the-shelf software out there. Last week, Johnny and I talked about, Quicken's got some stuff. There's some stuff out there. So search around and see what works best for you. Everybody doesn't have to use the same thing, but you have to use something to make sure that you are aware where everything is and be able to do a general accounting of where you are at any given time. Now, let's talk about the lending institutions, because part of this real estate game is you're going to leverage, and you want to use banks as much as you can, putting down 20%, letting them finance the 80%. So you got to manage these organizations, right? You got to make sure that you're paying on time. And really what you should be doing is allowing them to automatically draft so you know that they're getting paid on time. So you got to make sure that you're ensuring those payments are in there. Again, put it on auto pay, baby, that you don't have to worry about it. Just make sure you got enough money in there to cover it. And then again, you want to check those mortgage statements every month, because they're giving you the pay down amount, how much you're paying down, how much interest you're paying, if you're late, penalties, things like that. You have your amortization schedule. All those things you need to check for accuracy every month, because people make mistakes. They do. They make mistakes, and it's important that you be on top of that, baby, that you know where all the ducks are and you can make sure they quacking on time. Now, you also have to take care of utilities. One of the things that comes with managing houses is it has utilities, water, gas, electric, all kinds of utilities you got to make sure that you take care of. Again, I am a big proponent. Pay these bills in a timely manner when they're due, and if not, before they're due. Because you don't want to get an issue that, hey, I want to turn this service on, but you can't get it turned on because you didn't pay a delinquent balance that you have. Oh, I forgot to pay it. They don't care whether you forgot to pay it or not. You have to make sure you're accountable. You make sure that it happens. And one of the things that I do is I like to establish a leave-on agreement with the utility. So the gas company, the water company, electric company, I have a list of my properties that I give to them, and they will put me on what they call a leave-on agreement. That means that if a tenant moves out, that the service will not be disconnected. It will be automatically transferred to my name. And that way I get a lower service fee whenever they do the transfer and things like that. Now, the one issue with this, sometimes if a tenant is there and they get cut off for non-pay, now, sometimes that service will roll into your name depending upon you what utility is in. So you got to watch out for that. The service will roll right back in your name if the tenant gets cut off, and they try to stick you with the bill. You want to make sure that you're checking and making sure it's not in your name. Again, each property should have its own individual utility ledger. Be sure that you turn off in between tenants. Now, I make this mistake several times. You'll hand the tenants the keys. It's your property. Oh, can you leave the service on for a couple of days so that we can get it turned in our name? Sure, I'll do that. But sometimes I'll forget. And sometimes they don't get it put in their name. So there I am stuck with the bill. Now I got to go back to them. I got to say, hey, this is in my name, but you need to pay it and get it. When you make sure when the tenant takes possession of that property, you make sure you get those utilities turned out of your name. Oh, contractors, how do you manage contractors? This is going to be a whole lesson in itself. I've already decided. I've been having some issues with contractors lately myself, and I got some stories I got to tell you. So I'm not going to dive into real detail here, but I just want to give you a few things that you want to think about when you're managing your contractor. First of all, if you're going to be paying them, I believe it's more than $1,200, then you need to make sure you get them to sign a W-9 up front. What that W-9 is, and I'll show you a copy of it here in a minute, it basically gets their either their social security number or their employee identification number, EIN number. That way, when you write it off, the government wants to know who you pay money to so they know who's getting income, right? If you're writing it off as an expense, the government wants to know who can we assign that income to. So you got to make sure you get that from your contract. If it's less than $1,200, I wouldn't worry about it. But it's more than that for any one contractor. You want to make sure that you have that filled out. Also, make sure when you hire a contractor, again, this has got to be a whole lesson. This may be 2 or 3 lessons because this is a critical piece of the business here. Managing contracts, when you have rehab, when you're having maintenance work done, you have to make sure that you have signed contract, especially if it's a large rehab. You're getting into $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 rehabs, you got to have stuff spelled out so everybody knows what's expected of each party to this contract, because it can go wrong and it can go wrong fast. Never pay money up front to start work. If the contractor says it's a $2,000 job and I need you to pay me $1,000 up front, don't do that. Don't work with that, right? Unless you're paying for supplies to get them done. Now, I understand that they need a little money to get started, but usually if I'm giving you some money to get started, if it's a $2,000 contract, I will let you get started in the work. And after a few days, I'll give you like $500. Then we'll draw that down till we get to that last $500 that's going to complete the $2,000 bill that I owe you. But I don't pay people up front. You get swindled real quick like that. Also, make sure you're keeping good receipts regarding the time and the material that's being spent on whatever project that you have. And here's the key. Do not make that final check prior to completion of the project. And that is, you've eyeballed everything. You're comfortable with everything that's being said, with everything that you're being charged for, and then you sign off on that. Now, if it's a large rehab, $10,000, $5,000 or more, a lot of times you want to make sure you have them sign a release, and I don't have that on here. But again, when we talk about contracts, you want a lien release that's saying that they won't come back and try to file a lien on your property because you didn't pay them enough money. You want that release signed when you give them that final check, right? So again, this contractor thing is big, so I gotta spend a lot of time with you guys here. But for right now, These are just some highlighted items that I want you to be aware of. When we get into details, you're going to need to ask a lot of questions. This is a critical piece of the real estate millionaires business. And then always have an exit plan if the contractor fails to perform according to the estimate. You say, what do you mean there? He fails to perform. Well, maybe he didn't do all that you wanted him to do, and it wasn't really spelled out in the contract. So how do you resolve that? And what if he runs up on stuff as he's fixing stuff that needs to be repaired? How do you do that? Again, that's just part of managing the business. Not going to go into detail today, but you need to have a plan on how you address those type of issues. Insurance. Now, insurance is one of those taxes and insurance are two critical pieces of this business. You have to be insured for your own protection and for the protection, again, of your tenants. And the insurance is going to cover liability, but it's also going to cover you if something happens to that property. If it fire, flood, anything that happens to destroy that property, you need to make sure that's insurance, especially if you have a mortgage on that. The mortgage company is going to require that you have insurance, and they're going to be also on that insurance, have a lien on that if it's paid out, they're going to make sure they get their money first. So one of the things I'm probably going to need to do is probably go into insurance and give it its own class also, because this is a big piece. But you want to make sure that you're getting the most cost-effective insurance for the house. There's some options there. You can do cash value, which is just the value of the property. You pay $50,000 for the property, you can get a $50,000 insurance policy on that. And usually that's what I do with my property. Now, if I have a really nice property, I'm going to have replacement value on it. For instance, Lila's house, we just moved out of her house last year. We put it up for rent. Very nice house, worth $180,000. I'm not just going to have cash value on that. I'm going to have full replacement, because it'll probably cost more than $180,000 to get that house rebuilt if it was in fact burnt. So it depends on the class property that you have. My Class C properties, I have cash value on them. For if something happens, I'm only going to get what the house is worth at that point. But if I got my Class A, Class B properties, I want full replacement, baby, because I want to make sure that I can rebuild that house at current prices. And also make sure that you get several quotes and compare different companies when you're talking about insurance. There's various companies out there, and you need to be out there comparing, making sure that you get several quotes before you go, right? And so review your policy annually. Every time all of my policies come up for renewal, I'm going to check to make sure if there's somebody else that can give me that cheaper. So I always have at least 2 insurance companies that I work with. So most of them right now are with one company, but I do have several with another company, because this one company right now is giving me a really, really good deal because I have a lot of my properties with them. And make sure you set the right deductible. This last ice storm revealed to me that I probably had the right deductible on all my policies. All my policies have a $1,000 deductible. And so some people say, well, I can't handle a $1,000 hit on my properties like that. Then you need to get it down to $500 or $200. Just know the lower the deductible, the higher the cost of the insurance, right? So I kind of like it in the middle. I can withstand a $1,000 deductible, on my property. Again, 4 of my properties got damaged during the ice, but all of them, the cost to repair those and get those back up running, clearing the trees and all that, they all came in for each property, except for one, right under $1,000. So I was able not to be able to have the insurance company come out and pay out on that, because once you file a claim, baby, they're going to be looking to raise your rate. So you want to keep those rates down as much as you can. And then again, just keep separate records for each property. Taxes. You talking about taxes? Yeah, I'm talking about practice. You talking about taxes. You got to take care of these taxes. There's 2 types of, I look at taxes 2 ways. there is tax avoidance and tax evasion. It's okay to avoid taxes because you want to minimize your taxes avoidance. You don't want to evade taxes. They send people to jail for that, right? If you don't do what you're supposed to do in regard to tax, you're not reporting your income properly, or you taking all these excessive expenses, they gonna come see you. So you just make sure you got the documentation ready to show them, sir, ma'ams, this is legitimate expenses. These are legitimate incomes that I received on these properties. So this is, again, a part of the business that I'm going to have to take you guys deep down in the bowels of it so you can understand how this tax thing works and how it works to your benefit. But today, I'm just going to hit the high points and say, make sure you're keeping good records, baby. Separate them out again for each property. You've heard me say that consistently, time and time again. Each one of these slides, each property must have its own records. You can't commingle. You can't get stuff mixed up. You got to keep stuff separate, baby. And be sure you know what items are deductible. Again, I've shared with you pretty much everything you spend on rental property is deductible, but you got to make sure that some items that are not deductible that you're not including in there. Again, keep banking statements, keep mortgage statements, keep all your invoice. All those things are documentation that you're going to need to provide if, in fact, the government ever asks you concerning how you're running your business. You can create Excel spreadsheets instead of having this whole box of receipts. I mean, you can use scanners today. On your iPhone, you can scan stuff in and you can put it on your computer. So there's a lot of different things that you can do as far as managing the property. And here's one that you need to know. The IRS requires that you keep 3 years plus current for audit purposes. That is, you got to keep 3 previous years plus this current year in case they ever want to audit you. The law says they can't go back further than that, but they can go 3 years plus current on you, baby. So you want to make sure that you're current, that you're keeping all your records. I've been audited twice. Each time I came through with clean colors, baby, I did everything on the up and up. But man, when you get that notice in the mail and you see the IRS and you be scared to open it, what did I do? You be thinking about all the stuff. Oh, I didn't report this. No, you got to make sure you do it right, baby. Because if they come after you, they gonna get with you. You got to check. Make sure you're on the good side. That's all I got right now, but I'm going to show you some stuff, but I want to stop here for a minute and see if we got any questions. What kind of questions we got? And just jump on in if you got questions. I'm going to look here and see what we got. Anybody got any questions? Let's hear it.
I have a question, Mr. Ray. This is Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew.
So you said you for all your properties, you keep all your accounts separate.
Yes.
So do you create a separate bank each property under Juice Properties LLC?
Yes. So each property under the LLC is kept, but they're all in Juice Properties, right? Mm-hmm. They have their own individual, and I'll show you. I think you must not have been here when I showed you my taxes one day. You'll see how it's broken out, but everything is under Juice Properties.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, but I have to keep each one of them separate. So if I got income, expenses on one, they have to be separated out.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. Any other questions while I pull up some stuff here? So here is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, do you require your tenants to have renter's insurance?
I don't require it because it's on them. If you want your stuff insured, you can surely have it, but I'm not insuring it. So I let them know, and you should know if you're a renter that the landlord does not cover your stuff, your personal property, your furniture, your vehicle, none of that. Only if I did something, my property caused damage to your stuff, then I'm responsible. Otherwise, you're responsible, and no, I don't require them to have it. But you should have, if you're a renter, you should have renter's insurance. What other questions we got? All right, so here's a spreadsheet. Let me see if you can see it. So this is a spreadsheet I have for my insurance. As you can see, I kept it back. This one just goes back to 2016. And you can see the amount that I paid for the properties and which company I was with at that time. And then 2018, you can see, and I can also see how much my insurance is going up on each individual property. So I haven't put 20s in here yet. 2020 is not in here yet, but these are the last few years for each one of my properties. As you can see, totals are running about $10,000 to $12,000 a year for insurance on all of my properties. So I have to make sure I keep up with that for every individual property. This is my rent rolls, and so I keep up with how much each property. This is not exactly my rent roll. This is something I print out every month and I take with me when I'm collecting rent, so I can put the date that they pay and the amount that they pay. So if anybody's behind, I'll know. And so I know at the end of the day, I should have 17.5 on all of my properties. Then I also show how they pay. Now, since COVID, I don't accept mail anymore. So you're either putting it directly in my account, you're doing Cash App, or we're doing PayPal, right? Hold on, yeah. So yeah, so that's my rent roll as far as how much each tenant owes every month. Now, my actual rent rolls that I show, now this is all my properties right here. As you can see, the address, I show the date that I acquired it, what the purchase price was for those properties, if I had cost of improvement. This way I got on one document, I've got everything on my properties that I can do at a glance, and I can also share this with lenders when I'm going out to do refi or buying another property. So I'll list what the current value on each property is, who the lender is. You can see a lot of them don't have any lenders because I own them free and clear. If they got any loan amount, what the loan amount is, what the loan to value is, are they occupied, when the lease started, are they current, what the current rent amount is, what my taxes are, and then what I'm netting on each property, what my debt payment is. So I got everything right here on one document at a quick glance that I can take a look at all my properties. Any questions? All right. And then on a monthly basis, as I have expenses, this is kind of where I keep my monthly expenses. Like this is November. So this is all the stuff that I've been paying out of Juice Properties this month. So I keep everything right here, just a running record. And then I have another file that I transfer it to when I'm ready to put it in its own folder, each individual house. Now, right now, all the houses are in here. So I have a separate Excel spreadsheet for each individual house that I'll transfer this to. Right now, I'm sitting at almost 13,000 in expenses for the month of November, which is a little bit on the high side for me. But hey, it's been one of those months. I had a bunch of expenses for trees and electrical repair and all that, and I'm still paying Home Depot $2,000, on my rehab that I was doing on Madison. Questions? And so one more thing that's going to be happening, I'm getting ready to do a refi on several of my properties. And so I'm going to let you guys in on how this refi is going to go. I've got a bank that they're going to take over. I'm going to refi about 10 of my properties, and I'm going to take out about $300,000. That's how much I have available to take out in equity. I'm not going to take all that out, but I am going to take some of that out, and I'm going to use that. So I'm going to get you guys involved on my thinking, what the numbers look like when I take this kind of money out, and then what am I going to do with it? How am I going to parlay it? How am I going to make it grow for me, baby? All right, let's see. There was another thing I was going to show you. Any questions? Go ahead and ask questions while I'm pulling up the next sheet here. Let's see. Let's do this. So I did 2 rehabs this past year. I did one on Madison and one on Ballard Drive. So I'm going to take my newbies through. You haven't seen either one of these properties, so let me see if I can make this work here. Sometimes I can make it work and sometimes I can't. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get it. You guys see that? Can you see the video?
Yes.
All right, so
Yes.
here's 2301 East Madison. And this is the property. Some of you that's been around, you've seen it. And so I'm gonna give you an idea of what it looked like when we first started. So here's the outside of the property. I ended up having to boot this tenant out of here. I won't go into details, but this property, I've had this property a long time. So you can see it was in need of some work. Got them hardwood floors there. Wait till you see what I did to them hardwood floors, baby. Brought them back, made them look like brand new. So at this point, we've already into the construction part of. We're going to replace the entire kitchen area. As you can see, we've already tore everything down. We're going all the way down, replace the wiring. We're replacing the plumbing. Everything is being redone in the bathroom. Excuse me, in the kitchen and the bathroom. We're gonna also, this is a 3-bed, 1-bath property. I believe I bought this one. I gotta go back and look. It wasn't that much. I probably paid about $10,000 for it. As you can see, we busted everything out of here, taking it down, all the way down to the studs, baby. This is what a rehab looks like. I ended up paying about $30,000 for this complete rehab. On this property, but she was worth it. She was in bad shape. I needed to bring her back. She needed more than lipstick. Let me put it like that. This was a full overhaul, baby. We had to go in and augment some things. But she's gonna be bringing in some good money when we were done with her. But right now she looks rough and tough. So I had to take some of these walls were cracking. So I just went ahead. We're gonna take it all down, put in new sheetrock. We're gonna retexture everything. These windows are gonna be replaced. These are these old plank woods that you see on the wall. That's the stuff they used to put behind this wall. This property was probably 1940. 1940 was built, so it's an old property. Oh, but she's still good. She's still making that money. At the time that when I first took it over, it was just being rented for $650 a month. So I've been renting it for about $600, $650 for the last few years. You can see it's pretty rough. The carpet, we just ripped the carpet out. So what you're seeing is the floors that where the carpet was ripped off at. Ended up having to change that hot water tank out too. So that's what it looked like, baby. When we first started it, we probably were a week in at this point and doing the rehab. So let me stop that one. Let's see if we can.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
this is Kendra.
Hi, Kendra.
Have you had to deal with like lead abatement or asbestos in some of these older rehabs? And if
yes,
so, have you had like a good person?
Excuse me?
I was just saying, and if so, like, have you been happy with like the contractors you use for that?
Yeah, pretty much so. Again, if I know there's asbestos up in the attic or something like that, I'll just, unless I have to do something up there, as long as you don't mess with it, you'll be all right. But if you go up there and start fooling around with it, that's where you're gonna get in trouble. So if I find that if I don't have to mess with it, I don't. But a lot of times you have no other choice. But I have had good luck so far with not really running into a lot of asbestos on my properties. All right, so let's go back to Madison. Let's see what Madison looked like, baby, when I got her all fixed up and I got her looking good. Then I'll give you the numbers on it. I don't think I have time to give you the numbers today, but we'll show you. She well, this might not work here. Hold on. Well, let me try one more other thing. I know I got a final one here for you. Oh, here it is, Madison Final. Open with. Okay, let me close some of this stuff out. Come back in right here. All right, you see it now? Yeah, are y'all able to see the video? I don't know if you are or not. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so here's rehab right here.
Yep.
She's up and running now, baby. Look at her. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she marvelous? Oh, look at it. She got a new paint job. She got, look at that. Look at them floors, baby. We brought them floors back. What we did, we rented a sander from Home Depot and buffed it all out. Look at that. Look at that backslash, baby. Got the granite counters. Got the got the floors, ceramic floors on her. Redid all the windows, the doors, the cabinet is all new, dishwasher, everything new, baby. She needed everything new. Then look what I did to her bathroom. Oh, isn't she so beautiful? Oh, she can't wait. Look at the workmanship we got here. We did some nice tile work in here. Very nice. New tub, new floor, new everything. You saw before. I took it down to the base, baby. And now, again, new windows, new lighting, new doors, fresh paint, floor, pretty much a brand new house. If you guys remember, I put this on the market for a month or two. I was trying to see if I could sell it. I was trying to get like 120 out of it. Couldn't get anybody to give it to me in this neighborhood. So what I ended up doing, I ended up renting it out. I was previously renting it out for $650. Today I'm renting it out for $850 a month. So the investment that I made in her is going to pay me back dividends for a long time. So let's see here. Yeah, she's beautiful. Some of you got a chance to go over and see this one. You were with me, you're in the advanced class, you saw this one earlier. All right, so that's that one. Any questions? I think that's gonna be the last one for today. We're about 40 minutes into it. Any questions? Anybody got any questions on anything that I reviewed today or anything on what we're gonna do in the future? I got some plans. Ooh, I got some plans for y'all. And one of the things is I need you to be aware of. Now I'm starting to share with you guys the innermost what's going on with Juice Property. So you're seeing numbers and you're going to be seeing contracts, and I'm just going to be giving you here it is. I ain't hiding anything. I am a real estate millionaire. I got nothing to hide. My goal is to make you one too. So as much information as I can share with you, I will. And so during December, okay, let's look at what's going to happen in December. So this is the last class for the foundations class. and we're going to be moving over into next year. But for the month of December, I'm just going to be doing various things. One of the things I'm probably going to do is that contractor deal. So I need to really bring you guys around on contract. But there's some other things I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start having some on-site meetings. We might meet at Lowe's. We're going to, I got 2 projects that I'm coming up. I just went to an eviction hearing today. And so I'm going to be evicting one of my tenants. So I'm going to be redoing that property. I'm going to take you through the eviction process, why I evicted them, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to start giving you the details, baby. Everything is real, upfront, personal. The only way you learn is by seeing how it's being done when somebody is doing it. All right. So again, I'm trying to figure out what direction I should take you guys. I kind of know, but I'm gonna take some time here during December, get everything worked out. When January comes, baby, we're gonna be hitting the ground running, because I'm gonna have some opportunity for some people to make money. Remember, I just told you I'm gonna refi those properties. I'm probably gonna take about 200,000 out, and I'm gonna have 200K ready to go, baby. And I want to see who's gonna be ready to go with me, because we about to parlay this, and we about to take this to the next level. That's what we doing. We not playing, baby. We about to get out there. So with that, nothing else for the rest of the week. Everybody enjoy Turkey Day. Spend time with your family. Now make sure you mask up and social distance. Do all that stuff. Don't be playing around with this COVID. It's the real deal. But next week, either Monday or Thursday, I'll have a meeting. I haven't decided yet. I'll give you guys a head up. I'm also going to start sending you some videos from time to time. Now, these are things that I'm starting to share with you because I'm interested in creating the whole person. And so I want to start helping you understand your thinking. So if I send you something and you say, don't really apply to me, then don't worry about it. Just don't listen to it. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to test you over it, but I'm trying to take you somewhere. And I just got to start dropping seedless here and there until I can get you to start growing and understanding what we mean when we talk about having the millionaire mindset, baby. It's a mindset that you got to have. You got to have your heart stayed on him, baby. Trust in him, and he'll take you places you never knew you was going to go. Well, I see the clock on the wall. It said it's time for us to go. It's been good, but I'll see you next week. So everybody have a very good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time, and we'll see you next week. God bless you.